Good morning students. Today in this video we are going to see about atomic mass, relative atomic mass and average atomic mass. First these three definitions may asked in 2 mark question. So last video we saw about what is atomic mass. So we know in an atom the neutron and the protons, both neutron and proton, they present inside the nucleus and the electrons alone revolving around the nucleus. So inside the nucleus the protons and neutrons are present. Their mass, if we add both the mass of the proton and the mass of the neutron, the sum, the answer we will get the atomic mass. Now we are going to see about relative atomic mass. That means relative means we have to compare with any other standard atomic mass. Here we are taking the standard atomic mass of carbon 12. We know the isotopes of carbon. Carbon atomic number is 6, but its mass number is 12. Not only 12, C12 is also there and C14 is also there. But we have to take carbon 12 as a standard one because in atmosphere the carbon 12 isotope is maximum it is present. So we have to take the relative for comparing the any atomic mass of the any element with the carbon 12. So we have to take the standard atom as a carbon 12 isotope. See the definition. AR here represents relative, R represents relative, A represents atomic mass. Relative atomic mass is defined as the ratio because we have to divide that. So the ratio between the average mass of the isotopes of the element divided by 1 by 12th of mass of carbon 12. We know this one. Carbon 12 mass means, so 12 we have to divide them by 12. Here average mass of the isotopes of the element means, for example, if you are taking the nitrogen atomic number is 7 but mass number is 14. Nitrogen 13 also present. Nitrogen 13, nitrogen 14, nitrogen 15 is also there. Their average mass we have to take. That means mass of the proton and the neutron for each element we have to take, and then we have to see average mass of the isotopes of the element by 1 by 12th of mass of carbon 12. So this is the definition for relative atomic mass. For the relative atomic mass, it having no unit. But if the atomic mass of an element is expressed in grams, then we call it as a gram atomic mass. See, for a force we have to use Newton. For mass we have to use kilogram. Likewise, for the atomic mass there is no symbol. But if the same atomic mass, if we are expressing in gram, for example 12 gram of atomic mass, 12 gram or 14 gram or 15 gram, like that means that value we call it as a gram atomic mass. So if the atomic mass of an element is expressed in gram, that means atomic mass of any element is expressed in gram, it is called gram atomic mass. Now we are going to see about average atomic mass. Here there is relative atomic mass means we are comparing with the carbon 12. But here average atomic mass means we have to take the average mass of the each element. For example, hydrogen. We know only hydrogen symbol is H and its atomic number and mass number is 1, we know already. But there are isotopes of hydrogen is there, that is 1H1 we call it as a protium. 1H2 we call it as a deuterium and 1H3 we call it as a tritium. Here all the symbols are H and all the atomic number are 111, but their mass number see 1, 2, 3. Their mass numbers are different. So these are the example for the isotopes of hydrogen. But if we are comparing their weight, for protium if it takes the mass weight, it is 1 nearly, then here 2, then 3. If we take some of the all the 3 isotopes atomic weight, it gives nearly 1.008. But we call, generally we say atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. But the correct accurate value is 1.008. So here the definition is, it is defined as the average weight of the masses of its naturally occurring isotope, not artificially, because we artificially synthesized the isotopes can be artificially prepared by the process called nuclear reactions, nuclear fission or fusion. But here we are taking the naturally occurring isotopes, their average weight of the masses, we call it as a average atomic mass. Example here given, this one it may comes in one word, its atomic mass, that means hydrogen's atomic mass is 1.008, but we Shortly, we said that atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Similarly, for helium, we said only 4. For lithium, it is 6.9. But accurately, if you are saying means lithium 7 and helium is 4. Next, we are going to see a very important 5-mark question. Relation between vapor density and molecular mass. We are going to derive one derivation. Relation between vapor density and molecular mass. See, listen carefully, students. First, I am going to say the definition for relative molecular mass, that is molecular mass, and vapor density. See, first, relative molecular mass, or we can say, because why we are using here relative, the word, because we are comparing with the standard atom, that is hydrogen. So that's why we call it as a relative molecular mass. So in the last page we saw that relative atomic mass, but here relative molecular mass. See, mass of one molecule of gas or vapor. We have to take any gas, hydrogen or chlorine or any oxygen or any gas. Mass of one molecule of gas or vapor. That means if you take a hydrogen one molecule or any oxygen as a gas of one molecule, their weight we have to take. So mass of one molecule of gas or any vapor divided by mass of one atom of hydrogen. Here mass of one atom of hydrogen is given. So the ratio between mass of one molecule of gas or vapor divided by mass of one atom of hydrogen. So this point we have to keep them as a first equation. Now coming to the definition for vapor density. What do you mean by vapor density? Suppose if any gas, if you are placing in the closed container. So after 1 hour or 2 hour, if you are seeing that above that lid, we have to see above that inside that lid, we are seeing some force or some pressure is developed. That we call it as a vapor, and whole as a whole we call it as a vapor density. So vapor density means mass of one volume of gas or vapor. Here see, molecular mass means we have to take one molecule. Vapor density means we have to mention them in the volume. So mass of one volume of gas or vapor, because gases are mostly explained in the terms of volume only. That's why here we are taking mass of one volume of gas or vapor by mass of, we are using same or one, mass of one volume of hydrogen. The same definition for both relative molecular mass and vapor density. The only difference is here we are using one molecule, here we are using one volume. Then here one atom of hydrogen, here we are using one volume of hydrogen. Now definition vapor density, keep them as a second point. So first point is the definition for relative molecular mass, and the second equation the definition for vapor density. So I explained both the definitions. Now in this definition apply Avogadro law. So Avogadro law means I have to next page, after 5 minutes I will explain what is Avogadro hypothesis. Then you will understand. Just now you see the word alone. Apply Avogadro. Avogadro is an Italian scientist, Amedeo Avogadro. He is a scientist. He explained some hypothesis. After I explain later. Apply Avogadro law in the equation number 2. What is Avogadro law? Just simply I am saying, wherever volume comes, we have to substitute the word as a molecule. See, the volume is a word, we have to change them into as a molecule. So apply Avogadro law in the equation number 2. Now the volume now changes into molecule. See, vapor density equal to, instead of mass of one volume, I am using mass of one molecule of gas or vapor, by mass of one, instead of volume I am using molecule. So this volume alone now changes into molecule. Here also volume alone changes into molecule. So this is Avogadro's law. Apply Avogadro law means what? Wherever volume comes, we have to change them into molecule. Now the second equation now changes into as a molecule form. Now we know one molecule of hydrogen contains 2 hydrogen atoms. We know the definition for atomicity. Atomicity means what? The number of atoms present in one molecule. For example, in hydrogen molecule, how many hydrogen atoms? H2, it having 2 hydrogen atoms. So the atomicity is equal to 2. For example, another example, in chlorine molecule Cl2, how many atoms are there? There are 2 atoms. So in ozone O3, how many atoms are there? It is a 3. So triatomic. So one molecule of hydrogen contains 2 hydrogen atom. Listen carefully. One molecule of hydrogen contain 2 hydrogen atom. So instead of in the denominator side, see, mass of one molecule of hydrogen, this term alone I am going to change them into, instead of one molecule, it changes into 2 into mass of one atom of hydrogen, because one molecule of hydrogen contain 2 hydrogen atom. So instead of, for writing this, I used 2 into mass of one atom of hydrogen. So keep them as a third equation. Now just cross multiply this 2 into here. It becomes 2 into vapor density. So 2 into vapor density equal to, remaining thing what? Mass of one molecule of gas or vapor by mass of one atom of hydrogen. Because this 2 comes here left side. So 2 into vapor density equal to mass of one molecule of gas or vapor by mass of one atom of hydrogen. Now keep them as a fourth equation. Now we should compare the first equation and the fourth equation. See, first, mass of one molecule of gas or vapor by mass of one atom of hydrogen. The same definition now comes here. Mass of one molecule of gas or vapor by mass of one atom of hydrogen. So the right hand side are both equal. So instead of writing this, I used to write this word relative molecular mass here. So 2 into vapor density equal to relative molecular mass. So this is the final relation between the vapor density and the molecular mass. Once again I recall, listen. So first equation is the definition for RMM, that is relative molecular mass. Second point, definition for vapor density, that is VD. Instead of molecule, I am using here volume. Now, apply Avogadro law. Third point. You have to keep them in memory. First definition for RMM. Second definition for vapor density. Third definition for Avogadro law. Here, volume changes into molecule in equation number 2. So, instead of wherever volume comes, I use it to write the word molecule. Now, one molecule of hydrogen contain how many hydrogen atom? 2 hydrogen atom. So instead of writing this, I am using 2 into mass of one atom of hydrogen. The next step, cross multiply this 2 here. Now it becomes 2 into vapor density equal to mass of one molecule of gas or vapor by mass of one atom of hydrogen. Now compare the first equation and the fourth equation. Now the final is 2 into vapor density equal to relative molecular mass. Very important derivation. So the final answer is what? 2 into vapor density. Twice the vapor density, which gives the definition for the relative molecular mass. The next question we are going to see is state Avogadro hypothesis and write its application. With the more important question in this chapter is relation between vapor density and molecular mass. We already saw that one. Now the last topic, theoretical part in this chapter is Avogadro law, that is Avogadro hypothesis and its application. What do you mean by hypothesis? It's only a theoretical. It is only an assumption, not a practical. Okay. So just a word alone. He gave Amedeo Avogadro, an Italian scientist. He gave only a theoretical part alone, but it cannot be applied for the practical things. That is, we call it as a Avogadro's law, or we can say Avogadro hypothesis. Avogadro, he stated a definition for that. See, listen, equal volumes of all gases under similar conditions of temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. For example, if you are taking 2 vessels, first vessel we have to keep hydrogen for 5 liters of hydrogen. In the same size of the another one container, we are taking the 5 liters of oxygen. So first container hydrogen, second same size of the container. First one hydrogen, second one is oxygen. The same volume we have to take for 5 liters, second also in 5 liters. Without any change in their temperature and pressure. Keep them in mind. There should not be any, for example, if you keep them as a room temperature and a room pressure. So that is called as a standard or similar conditions of temperature and pressure, because if you change the temperature or if you heat the substance, definitely the molecules will be affected or moving very fast or escaping from the container. If you're giving more pressure also, some reactions will be going on there. So our collisions may be going on. So under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure, if you take 5 liters of hydrogen and 5 liters of oxygen, means definitely their number of molecules also will be same, because the container is same, their volume is same, definitely their molecules also same. This will be explained by the scientist called as Avogadro. So once again I explained the statement or the hypothesis or the law. Equal volumes of all gases. See here also equal number of molecules. In between what? Similar conditions of temperature and pressure. Very easy to memory the definition. See, equal volumes of all gases under similar conditions of temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. Here also an example is given. H2 plus chlorine, which gives 2 molecules of HCl. That means 1 volume of hydrogen combined with the 1 volume. 1 volume means 1 liter. 1 volume of hydrogen combines with the 1 volume of chlorine, which gives both, we get 2 volumes of hydrochloric acid. That is 2 volumes. Instead of, if we saying in terms of, because Avogadro say wherever volume using, we are also use the word molecule. So we can say in another word, instead of volume, we can use 1 molecule of hydrogen combined with the 1 molecule of chlorine, we get 2 molecules of hydrogen chlorine. So only thing we have to keep them in mind is wherever volumes come, we have to use the word molecule also based on Avogadro. This is the statement. Now we are going to see the applications. So only 5 applications are there. Very easy one. So listen. It explained Gay-Lussac law. Gay-Lussac also one scientist, he explained one law. What? The same, Gay-Lussac's law also depends on the Avogadro law. See, here H2 plus chlorine, which gives 2 HCl. Here the volume what? 1 volume, here 1 volume. But the product side what? How much? 2 volumes. Here 1 volume, here 2 volume. Their volumes itself, their volumes of both the reactants and the products itself, they bear a simple numerical ratio. For example, here 1, here 2. These are the volumes. Of the reactant side, 1:1:2. Product side, 2. So the ratio is 1:2. This is explained by Gay-Lussac. That's all. See, whenever the gases reacts, Gay-Lussac explained that the volumes of the reactants and the volumes of the products, their numbers, their volume numbers itself bear a simple numerical ratio. That is 1:2. That's all. So here also volume, we are using the molecule term. So Avogadro's first application is, it explained the Gay-Lussac's law. Second point, it helps in the determination of atomicity in gas. By seeing the volume, by seeing the molecule, we can easily confirm that how many atoms are present. That is called atomicity. So Avogadro application is second one is, it helps in the determination of atomicity in gases. Third one, molecular formula of gases can be derived. For example, how many atoms if we know means, definitely we itself frame the molecular formula. For example, there are two atoms are present or 3 atoms are present, means definitely it will be a triatomic molecule. So the molecular formula of a gases can be derived. Then fourth, it determines the relation between molecular mass and vapor density. The last page we saw that only the relation between vapor density and molecular mass, that we applied Avogadro law, no, isn't it? So the same point here also. It determines the relation between the molecular mass and the vapor density. The last point, it helps to determine the gram molar volume of all gases. What do you mean by molar volume? The volume occupied by 1 mole of any gas. For example, oxygen is a 22.4 liter at STP. STP means what? Standard temperature and pressure. So it helps to determine the gram molar volume. That means the volume occupied by 1 mole of any gas is called as a gram molar volume. Here also Avogadro law is used to find out the gram molar volume. Once again I explained the applications shortly. It explained Gay-Lussac law, determine the atomicity of gas, molecular formula can be derived, it used to derive the relation between molecular mass and vapor density. It helps to determine the gram molar volume of all gases. So in this chapter, we saw all the theoretical part. In next class, in next video, I will explain what are the problems comes out based on the mole concept, molecular mass, etc. Thank you, students.